It's interesting to see that about a third of the ACNC charity register are organisations for the advancement of religion. So clearly, a lot of religious organisations are involved in the regulatory requirements of the ACNC. Some have some exemptions, such as basic religious charities, but they still have to go through the annual information statement, the notification requirements. And so understanding this compliance cycle is really essential for an organisation to maintain their charity status and tax exemptions that go with it. But not just for the sake of compliance, of course. It's for the sake of getting on with their mission. And sometimes we think of mission being the most important thing, but of course it can't be achieved unless we have the tools and we have the existence to do those things. So that's where compliance becomes so important, even for religious entities. That the compliance challenges for religious institutions are constantly in flux. Just take examples of employment and discrimination. There's mandatory reporting and managing historical sexual abuse. And so many of these compliance requirements are different in each state and territory. So the burden can be substantial. And compliance should be seen really as a way of ensuring that you can get on with your mission. And if we neglect these things, we're unable to operate effectively, so our mission will be affected. So this is an area really where attending to compliance will make sure that our whole organisation is more effective. I think religious institutions are realising that to focus on governance is an important part of their effectiveness. And I'm interested in the intersection between those ecclesial aspects of governance and civil aspects. And being able to bring together those two traditions, because often religious organisations are living in these two worlds, I think is an important way of ensuring that your governance is fit for purpose. Fit for the purpose of the organisation, but also fit for the purpose of the civil authorities that will want to make sure that the organisation is well controlled and well steered and is on top of its governance. So the focus really should be on what are we here for, where do we want to be, and how are we going to get there most effectively. So often the documents that set out our governance frameworks are languishing in dusty drawers. But in fact, they ought to be documents that guide us in our decision making. And so access to what we're on about and what our rules are is important really in every board meeting, in every members meeting, and reviewing them from time to time to say, do they really serve us well? Are they fit for the purpose of this organisation at this stage of its life? Or are there some things that we should be addressing to make them more effective? Certainly, you don't want to get to the point of realising that what you are doing is far removed from your documents, and then the documents have to catch up. I'm really saddened to see that a lot of the cases coming through the courts are cases about internecine wars within religious organisations. As one judge said in a Victorian case, it really is shameful that organisations that want to encourage healthy reconciliation are unable to resolve these things without going to court. So in terms of dispute resolution, I would hope that organisations would look to those alternative dispute resolution mechanisms that are often being used, things like mediation or having a trusted umpire rather than going to court and going to the expense of court, because that saps the resources of the organisation. I recall acting in one case that was fiercely contested in the federal court, and the parties were able to meditate together in the morning before they went to court. but they were not able to mediate together. And that struck me as a strange situation to be in, to have to go outside the organisation to get someone else to judge the situation. So institutions, firstly, should try to work out these things internally, or at least get a facilitator to help them resolve things, rather than dissipating the charitable assets of the organisation in litigation. And if it does get to litigation, just try to narrow the issues rather than use it as a place where the battle continues with all of the intensity that it often starts with. I think the things that are concerning religious organisations are very much in flux. Legislation is coming through, expectations are changing. And so a conference such as this enables you to reflect on whether you're keeping up with these changes, and then how you can adapt to ensure that you are being most effective within the compliance environment. You'll hear from experts, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions, and then carry those inputs into reflection on your organisation and what it means for how you can be more effective.